Help support the show by joining the Patreon or becoming a YouTube member. Also, hit that like button and subscribe if you want more Browns-focused content.
All right, now I'm recording this video for Sunday on Friday, but I do want to make sure this week, before I talk about what I want from the offense, I actually look at the weather report. So Foxborough, Massachusetts, there's a 5% chance of rain, 46% chance of precipitation, and 7-mile-per-hour winds, 53-degree highs. Make sure you bring a jacket if you're going to go to the game in Foxborough. It's going to be a little chilly. It's going to get cold, too, after the game. You know, we're talking about late game showers, possibly, right? There's a chance of rain that increases as we get to the later part of the game, of the season. Not the season, of the game. You know, it goes up to 10%, but it should just be chilly and a little bit of light wind with the 52-degree base there. So, nice football weather, which means hopefully, maybe, somehow, this might be the week where we can expect the offense to take off the training wheels. Now, again, look, I'm not going to act like it's an easy assignment this week. The New England Patriots are a good football team. They are Mike Vrabel defense. We know Mike Vrabel has always carried good defenses along with him, or at least that's the perception of Mike Vrabel. And, you know, Mike Vrabel's an experienced defensive mind, especially when it comes to NFL. And, you know, Dillion Gabriel's still a rookie in his fourth game. So, you know, you could expect some difficulties here, but at some point, right, Dillion says it himself, you wait for the perfect opportunity, be waiting for the rest of your life, right? So it's not a perfect opportunity, but this game does serve as a necessary opportunity to open up the offense a little. When I watched the tape in last week's game, what I saw was a team that is living the consequences of being as one-dimensional as they are. And I understand the Browns are one-dimensional for a reason, right? They're not just going into that coaches meeting deciding to be one-dimensional for fun. They are one-dimensional because they've only been good at one thing, and the one thing they've been good at is actually just one player, and that's Quincy Junkins. Everything else for this offense has not been successful. David Njoku not having a great season. Jerry Jeudy having a really bad season so far, right? Your offensive line has been underwhelming, to say the least. Injured all over the place, but underwhelming even when healthy. So if you're the Browns, I understand why it is that you're one-dimensional right now. But I think you just got to take the risk at this point, because being one-dimensional meant that you could not run the ball efficiently versus the 32 ranked rush defense in the NFL in the Miami Dolphins. It is costing you. It is hurting you. And you need to just do more things, right? Right now, it's less about what you can do at a high level and just doing more things, because right now, when teams play the Cleveland Browns offense, it's a very short conversation. Where's number 10 going to be? How many offensive linemen are going to be there? Can we beat those guys to their spots? If we do that, we win the game, right? 5 things you got to be worried about maybe with the Browns offense right now. That's not a lot of things. You want a defensive coordinator to sweat. You want him to be worried about it. You got to give him a lot of things to worry about. Even if those things aren't things you're necessarily great at, but just things you're willing to do. The Browns have to spread it out and throw this ball a little bit more. Not throw the ball more, because they've thrown the ball a lot actually in the last few weeks, but throw the ball with more variety, right? More variety in where they're attacking the field, more variety in how they're attacking the field. It can't just be a bunch of screens and a bunch of checks and a bunch of curls and a bunch of timing routes, right? There has to be a variety to the attack. With the run game, it can't just be Quincy Junkins out of heavy package with the fullback, left, right, middle, stretch, left, right. That's the 6 plays that we've really run with Quincy. It has to be more than that. You got to run them from a halfback draw. You got to run them from the gun. You got to run them counter trap. All this other stuff, pin pull, right? Like, you got to add all these other things to the rushing attack, more variety, if you're going to want to run the ball as much. Right now, the Browns ran the ball 16 times on first down with Quincy Junkins specifically. That's a ridiculous amount. Okay, 16 times on first down. A ridiculous amount of times, right? The Browns offense right now is too predictable and too one-dimensional. And if they want a chance to win today's game, they're going to have to be less predictable, which means being less one-dimensional. Now, how can they achieve that? We'll talk about that after we talk about my sponsor, Sleeper. Real quick, just want to let you guys know Sleeper has a new offer here. They're offering a free $20 entry, no deposit required. And also, if you're a first-time user, you also will receive a 100% match on up to $100 when you use the promo code Worst Take. Again, $20 free, no deposit required. Plus, first-time users also receive 100% deposit match up to $100. Join Sleeper. Now, look, I understand that this is going to be a tough ask because the Browns should be very hesitant to want to open up the playbook right now when they really haven't gotten much reason to feel good about that, right? But the stuff that they're leaning on right now, there's really no reason to feel good about that either. Like, teams just know what the Browns are going to do because the Browns can only do but so much, and they're only willing to do what they can do at a decent enough level, right? So when you watch them and it's like, hey, why does it feel like everybody knows our plays? It's because they know our tendencies. And our tendencies are so predictable because our ability of what we can do is so small, right? Think about it like this. If you are in a boxing match with a boxer who has one arm tied behind their back, the reason they're easier to beat isn't because that one arm that they can punch with is going to have less power, but it's because they're limited in the strategies that they have to come attack you. So they can only really do one thing, which makes defending against them a lot easier because you only have to worry about a limited amount of attacks from that boxer. It just simplifies your game plan. You don't have to worry about them coming from a completely different side of your body. So it makes it easier to box them, right? So the same concept applies itself to the Browns offense. Defenses are only worried about the Browns attacking them from the ground game and really only attacking them from the ground game from heavy packages. So they know, okay, we're going to play a lot of base personnel. We're going to have these guys get into these gaps. And if we win up front, then there's really nothing that the Browns can do. Now, if you don't win up front, the Browns are going to be able to get chunks on the ground. But if you do win up front, which most teams do, then you're going to be able to win the game against them, at least offense versus defense. So that's why the Browns look so predictable. When they throw the ball, right, they're not getting a lot of separation downfield, and also they're not getting protection to go downfield, which means the quarterbacks that are in there, regardless of who they are, don't have a lot of trust to throw downfield because they don't trust that the wide receiver is going to be open, nor do they trust that they're going to get the appropriate amount of time to be able to see that wide receiver be open. So they're just going to discount it and then more quickly go to their flat. So they know this, and they know that the Browns aren't going to really have time to go there. So they'll have guys take 2 steps back, act like they're going to defend a deep route, and then just jump back in because they know they're not going to throw it downfield blind, which you wouldn't want them to do, and that they're not going to get the protection to be able to make that mistake evident, which has been the bet that defenses have won on. So that has been the problem for the Browns, right? And I think right now, you got to just go into throwing stuff at the wall mode. You got to try some stuff, right, to see if you can get Dillion more comfortable to a place to where he's a bit more dangerous. Another thing I've brought up all week is the disparity between his efficiency in 2-minute situations versus his efficiency in regular situations, right? Feels like Dillion averages like 5 yards attempt on regular situations, but when he's in a 2-minute drill, he all of a sudden becomes a lot more efficient, a lot more willing to attack downfield, a lot more willing to take these throws that are a little bit more difficult but more rewarding. And his most impressive stuff has come at the end of the first half or at the end of the game. So if you're the Browns, I think you got to find a way to harness that. And I think what that demonstrates, to me at least, is that there are too many restrictions on the offense, right? When there are less restrictions on the offense because the situation calls for less restrictions, he's a lot more willing to go downfield and a lot better. Now, loosening those restrictions is going to increase the amount of turnovers that the offense creates because you're going to be a lot more risky with the football. But those turnover opportunities are already happening even with the restrictions in place, right? They're not being capitalized on, but they certainly are still happening with the restrictions in place. So I think there's really no downside to taking the restrictions off at this point. Whatever turnovers are going to happen, I think we're bound to happen anyways. The ball has been put in danger the last couple of weeks, sometimes because we're a bit more conservative than we should be. Teams are just like jumping curls, like that one route that everybody talked about where Jerry Jeudy, it looked like, oh, he caught the ball through the defender. The reason the defender was able to make that play on it because he had no fear that Jerry Jeudy was going to put his foot in the ground and go north. So he just broke in on it early, right? That's part of the problem is that we're too predictable. So defenses are just jumping everything that we're doing, and that's going to turn into turnovers eventually. So I think the restrictions need to be loosened up on him. I think we do need to let him do something. I think we need to trust him on first down as well. Like I think the tendency to run the ball is too strong on first down. It's obvious what the Browns are going to do. Every first down, they're going to run the ball out of heavy personnel. We're not creative enough out these heavy sets, or at least good enough when we do something else other than run the ball to really be a threat. Every levels concept I've seen this team run out of play action under center has been absolute dog. I'm just going to be honest with you. I haven't seen us run one good levels concept on a boot this season. Have you? Every level concept, it's dog. Yes, it sucks. So I don't really think that's where the Browns are going to kill him, right? I think the Browns need to develop some kind of run game out the gun. I think in order to do that, you need more successful when throwing the ball in the gun. And I think on first down, let Dillion do what Dillion does. And I think what Dillion does really well is he gets positive yards out the passing game. Maybe not big completions, but 4 or 5 yard completions. He seems to be really good at that. On second down, that shit is kind of useless. On third down and 10, it's really useless. But on first down, getting 5 yards is really, really helpful. And then maybe you could get the run here on second or third down. Just be less predictable in your tendencies. And I think if you put Dillion in a situation where you spread the field out, where he has the most experience in his college career, because every college that he played at, he played in some semblance of the spread, right? So this is a guy who's really comfortable in the gun, really comfortable in the spread. Most of the experience that you lauded him for comes from that. Most of the third down stuff that you lauded him for comes from that. Put him in those situations where he can do that. This is the stuff that makes me think that we're not getting the most out of Dillion Gabriel right now. Now, what does the most out of Dillion Gabriel look like? I don't know, but I feel like there's more that you could get out of him right now than they are. And the fact that we don't really use him out these spread sets or use spread sets with him, I don't think makes a lot of sense given what he was really good at in college was spreading the field out, identifying mismatches, and then attacking those mismatches. So let him do a little bit of that. I understand the offensive line has not been great, but you get Jack Conklin back this week. Cam Robinson is on his second game as a starter. So hopefully that can be improved, and maybe getting some success throwing the ball out of the spread can give you success running the ball out the spread, which then makes teams less sure of what you're going to do when you go under center. And then maybe you have more success going under center, and it just makes the offense more efficient overall. We need to be a lot less predictable. This is what I hope to see in this game. We'll see. They're wearing the all-white jerseys. It's usually not a good time when they're wearing the all-white jerseys. But let me know what you think in the comment section. Y'all have a great day. Join me on the stream tonight. Well, not tonight, today, 1 p.m. I'll be live. Make sure you join me. But y'all have a great day. Have an even better night. Peace.